Welcome back to the POSTCAST presented by the Locked On Senators podcast. After a 3-2 Sens loss against the New York Islanders, a game Ottawa outshoots the opposition 47-38, but comes up with a big fat 0 when it comes to all that matters, and that's points. The Senators are 0-2-0 on the road so far this season. Their next opportunity is Saturday against Pittsburgh. All right, fellas. Sens Central standouts in tonight's game. We put out, as we always do in our group chat, and we had an early jump, and it was Brandon Pillar. Who do you have as the number one Sens Central standout in tonight's game?
This was an easy choice for me, and I kind of jumped the gun on calling a standout because this is the guy I knew I wanted to talk about and represent for my Sens Central standout, brought to you by the GLEBE Central Pub, and that's number 6, Jakob Chychrun. I mean, he had a great game here. That goal was so nice, the way that he was able to do a nice little move around Anders Lee, and then he walks the line, and a good wrister from the circle, and he has the wherewithal to see Kelly is getting the screen in front, so he knows this is a great opportunity for me to get a shot towards the net here, and he beats Sorokin. That was one of his 9 shots on goal for this game. That's a high for the Senators, probably a high for the Islanders as well. Let's quickly do a scan here. Yeah, that's a game high in shots for Jakob Chychrun. That's not the only thing that was a game high for him. 28 minutes and 12 seconds for Chychrun as well, time on ice. So this guy was a big part of the hockey game tonight. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to get it done. But, I mean, when you're looking at the scoreboard in a 3-2 game, Chychrun can say, I had my man.
And it showed. Like, that's one where he passed the eye test tonight. He was awesome. He was moving. He had his defensive structure. You know, he's feeling himself when he's reaching out with one hand on his stick, trying to break up the puck at all times. He's almost got it just continuously around his perimeter and causing havoc. And he did that tonight. What a shake shimmy. We mentioned it. The fourth line created down low and made that play possible on his goal, but he still had the little shake and bake at the blue line and then feathered a perfect shot. And Pilsy, your 20 goal prediction for Jakob Chychrun, knock on wood, have him stay healthy, is looking pretty good. He's up to 4 goals so far this season. I feel like the Sens have to be near the top of the league at goals from the point. You look at Chychrun has had a few. Jake Sanderson's had a few as well. So I'd be curious to see where they stand in the league at that kind of micro stat. But great call, Jakob Chychrun, his best game of the season, I'd say, and that's saying something considering he had those 2 goals in the home opener. Martian, you jumped in right afterwards.
Yeah, I did, and you know who else had a goal from the point tonight, and that was my standout, and that's Claude Giroux on that 4-on-3. I guess you could call it from the point. He was a little maybe closer than what you would call the point, but he was the high man on that PP there. So Claude Giroux is going to be my standout there with that goal. He had 6 shots on goal as well. Including obviously that goal that he had. And then I really liked his leadership tonight. You could kind of see it on the broadcast. They really brought him, they spotlighted him after the second goal. And you could see him encouraging the other players and being very vocal as clearly as a leader for the rest of the team. So for me, like, that's the kind of thing that that's an intangible that doesn't show up on the score sheet. And I actually, I got to redeem myself here a little bit because I had called out his play after the first few games, saying that I think he needs to find another gear and get back to what he was doing last year. And he looked a little better tonight, definitely.
And it's funny because I think I'd agree with that. I'd agree with Timmy needing to be a bit better. But then you look at it and they're both basically at, if not better.
Yeah, they're producing. They're producing, yeah. I mean, which is more than you can say for half the other guys. So
yeah, it's really, really unfortunate. Pels, you got any thoughts on Claude Giroux?
Yeah, I would agree, Martian. This was probably G's best game so far. And sure, he's been quietly producing, but this was one of those games where they need to find a leader and they needed someone to kind of pick them up. And the broadcast showed multiple times, like, Giroux was the guy on the bench really getting things going. And I thought this was the bounce back performance we needed from Giroux.
It was. And hopefully that continues against Pittsburgh, a team that he's had a long, more than a decade rivalry with, going back to some epic playoff series against Sid. I'm going to go with Joonas Korpisalo. Somebody had to. And of course, being Sens Central standouts, I'm going with Korpisalo. I could have just as easily taken a swing at my second opposition goalie. I tried to play Uso a couple of games ago, but obviously Sorokin was fantastic. But Korpisalo, what I liked about him is even though he gave up an early goal and then frankly looked pretty poor on the next few shots, had a lot of rebound issues early in the game, he settled in. He made some huge stops, and he's so acrobatic, and he's able to get post to post so well. There were a couple plays in particular that I want to highlight where he made, sliding saves, and I just thought that he looked fantastic in this game. And to go up head to head against Sorokin when he's playing his best can be intimidating, I'm sure. But I thought Korpisalo was great tonight. 35 saves on 38 shots in this one. And when you look at his 5-on-5 game as well, he was every bit as good. So I thought he held them in the game, and he is deserving of the third Sens Central standout tonight.
Yeah,
that's
go ahead, Phils. Yeah.
This was another game where I'm not putting this on the goalie. I would agree, Ross. One thing with Korpisalo is he does give up a lot of rebounds, but I feel like he's one of those goalies that likes to play down low a lot. And sure, maybe he's able to get the save, but when you're playing down low like that, you're gonna a lot more pucks bouncing off the pillows, and you're leaving more rebounds out there. But in that case, the defense has to be aware of that and be better at clearing out the front of the net. Like that first goal, I thought Corpy made a good save, but the defensive structure let him out to dry, unfortunately. And I really thought his gloves looking better. The only other knock I have on Korpisalo is, man, I continue my stance of not wanting this guy to play the puck. He scares me. And he is, I don't know, like, Martian, do you notice this too? He's one of those goalies that unnecessarily tries to keep the play going. Like there was 2 or 3 times in this game where Corpy catches it and you're like, okay, nice, just settle. Whoa, what are you doing? Like,
he's all about running that,
throw that away.
He's all about running that clock out, baby. I love it. It's hilarious. Yeah, no, I did notice that, Pilsy, because he did it a few times where he just like dropped the puck and started playing it. Where I'm like, what are you doing out here? Just freeze it. Let's just get the line change going. But no, he likes to keep it moving out there. And I love his little, I don't know if I've mentioned this before on the pod, but the front tuck that he does in his pants, where he tucks his jersey in the front, and it looks like he's wearing a big diaper. I think that's so funny that he does that.
Oh my goodness. Sens lose 3-2 to the New York Islanders. They get goals from Jacob Chychrun, his 4th of the season, and Claude Giroux, his 2nd in reverse order. The Giroux goal assists go to Tim Stützle and Josh Norris. The Chychrun goal assisted by Rourke Chartier and Parker Kelly. Noah Dobson scores the game winner with 6 minutes in to the third period. The Senators battle. They even got a chance in the dying moments, but were unable to get the victory. We'll have more on this game tomorrow on the Locked On Senators podcast, a reaction podcast that should be out pretty early in the morning. We'll also get you set up with a weekend preview. The Senators will be in Pittsburgh to take on the Penguins Saturday night. Whew. Hope everyone has a great night. Again, the postcast is brought to you by the GLEBE Central Pub. Great people, amazing food, and it's also in the heart of the Glebe. They're big Sens fans just like you, so make sure you get the tickets to the Sens Shuttle, $17 round trip. I'm Ross Levitan with Brandon Pillar and at Laleem's Martian. Stick around if you're live in the chat. Well, you're going to do some quick after dark. If you're listening to this, you want to hear more, head to YouTube, where you can like, subscribe, and watch the bonus coverage of the Locked On Senators podcast.